Coming at you live from DNHQ in beautiful South Pasadena, California. This is the Blue Heaven Podcast. And we're here to talk about the MASH unit that's now in Chicago, but rained out. The Dodgers are hurting, as are we all. What's going on, Dodgers Nation? My name is Clint. You can find me as Real FRG on Twitter and Instagram.
My name is Brooke. You can find me in any local LA hospital donating this ligament, this one right here, and that one, and this one, and any ones that are needed because, you know what, I'm useless. Dustin May can throw a fastball.
Just in general.
We're going to talk about a lot of things. Obviously, we have to start off. It just had to be May for a lot of different reasons. We got to talk about Dustin May, what comes next for him, what comes next for the Dodgers rotation. There's a lot that goes into that. We'll kind of get into the minutia of all the possibilities and just what this month looks like, let alone the rest of the year. It's a lot to talk about.
There is a lot to talk about. We also got to talk. We got to. What's the word I'm looking for? We have to kind of fluff ourselves in a way because your boy Matt Beaty's up and he's doing well.
Self-fluffer.
Yeah, self-fluffer. So how about that, Beaty? We got to talk about Beaty a little bit more. It's been a month, so we got to review what we said about a month ago as best we can. We're going to call ourselves out on our own crap. We're going to give you the definitive list of pre-approved ballpark attire, things that you can wear to the ballpark. That's going to be very important in the last stanza of the show. Tim Rogers is going to be on the show in a little bit, too, so we'll talk about a lot of stuff. A lot of it sad, a lot of it fun, and a lot of it real shit-talky. But before we get into all that, don't forget this is a podcast. You're watching it, but you can also listen to us. Subscribe to Blue Heaven on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube, youtube.com/DodgersNationTV. You're going to be so glad you did.
So very glad you did. Guys, don't forget this is a live show. We are here in the flesh. We want to hear from you guys. If you are sad like us, which we're all sad all the time, so why not just join in on us? Let us know where you're repping Dodgers Nation tonight. Going to jump in the chat in a little bit. Brian Hatfield over on Facebook checking in says, "Hi fellas, Hatfield, good to see you as always." Santiago over on Facebook, "Hey guys, how's it going?" Noted fantasy baseball player Santiago.
How is all that going for you guys?
I'm terrible, so I don't know.
Well, we've established that you're terrible, but
I think they're having a good time. I kind of stopped checking my roster. As I promised, I forgot about it. So
we know AJ had a drop D May today from his team, so it's an F in the chat for that one.
Yeah,
F is for fail because D May had a failed ligament. By the way, anybody asking where's the game right now? The boys were rained out, so there's going to be a doubleheader on Tuesday.
We'll be reenacting it today,
or a double ender on Tuesday, whatever you want to call it. And Kershaw and Bauer now going. Buehler will be pitching on Wednesday. You would think that has to hurt the roster, the kind of roster plans and rotation plans a little bit more, having to go the doubleheader route.
Yeah. On one side, you're like, oh, it'll help out because of the bullpen. And then the other side, you're like, 2 starting pitchers, huh?
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like it's Clayton Kershaw and Trevor Bauer tomorrow, which I didn't realize until like 30 seconds ago. So that shows how much I pay attention.
Through sources, he heard.
Through sources, yeah.
I am sources. But let's dig into some of the comments. Ryan Moore saying, "Stupid Chicago weather." That's right. I heard it was just windy. Nobody warned me about the rain. That's a load of BS. I'm just saying.
It's called the Windy Rainy City.
Juice Neros over on YouTube saying, "Rest in peace." We got a rip to Dustin May. Ari giving us an F in the chat. Mrs. Me3 is driving. At first she said she was I'm Drin. So I think she's drinking and driving.
Perfect.
That's fun. David N. Dodger on Periscope, which is back, by the way. I figured out how to fix the Periscope. So until it dies, we'll be on there. But he said Urias came back from Tommy John surgery, feeling bad for Dustin. I mean, we've had some guys. Some of the boys have had TJ. It's just been a while.
Who do you have? TJ? I thought he had shoulder surgery.
I think he did.
No, I don't think he did.
I thought he did before, but I'm getting a little birdie in my ear by the name of Tim telling me no.
Yeah, we can see him. We can see him shaking.
I know he had the shoulder, but I didn't know if he had Tommy John as a youth.
Bacher Wheeler.
That makes sense because he came up as a 19-year-old, so I don't think he had Tommy John.
Really quick, TJ,
16 or 17 or something like that.
The success rate is high. That's the good news. Dustin May will be back. He will.
Is that your article? Just plug this part of the video.
For that one. Thank you. It will be successful. It will. He'll be back. It's just one of those things where it's like you're out for sure for a year.
Yeah.
Especially as a pitcher, and who knows? In addition to that, what happens? Because everybody heals at different rates.
Leslie Taylor says, "I've been to TJ. It's a fun place."
Shout out to TJ. TJ is a fun place.
Roach says, "My uncle's name is Tommy John, and this is JK. No, it's it's not. So now we know Roach is a dirty liar.
San
You
Bernardino.
can't trust.
Just San Bernardino.
You can't trust San Bernardino. Daniel Soto saying prayers up to D May. So let's just dive into the D May. It had to be May. Unfortunately, he starts on May 1st. Mm-hmm. It's May Day. We just drop a nice new shirt on GearUp.la, and then boom, he's
immediately
dead.
Gone.
It sucks, man. It really does suck. It sucks the big tuna because
Big tuna.
I mean, we know he's good. We didn't expect him to really come out as well as he did to start the season. He had a very, very fine month of April, and now. It will stay fine. The back of his baseball card's going to look great.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you look back at the stats for his 2021 season, you're like, wow, he had a pretty good season. It's really sad and unfortunate. He came out throwing unhittable stuff. He came out throwing swing and miss stuff, which is something that he's lacked in the early parts of his career. He came out, obviously, still throwing gas, but also pinpointing curveballs, which is like unheard of for him to start his career. So it's obviously something that he's been working on. You and I had kind of speculated how much that played a role in this happening and the injury to him, and you can go back and forth for days on how much that matters and how much that played a role in it. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you lost a really good talent at a really, let's just selfishly, at a really bad time for the Dodgers. Yeah. And obviously there's a selfish side of it, and then there's obviously the person side of it, which Dave Roberts even talked about today. He's like, obviously, like, you feel for him, and it sucks and it's terrible, and he's like, but also on the business side of it, as a team, you got to move forward, and you got to drive through this, and you got to kind of put it behind you for now. And he's like, he's going to be there. He's not dead. He's not gone from the team. He's just not here for the season. So.
Katie throws $2.99 American human US dollars on YouTube, pouring one out for the homie D May's elbow. I would pour it out, but then we have to mop it, and we don't have a mop in here. I don't know where it is. So hypothetical mop or pour one out. Not hypothetical. It's whatever. We poured one out in our brains. We did that.
So for so long we've been able to dodge this bullet, right? We've been able to avoid it for the most part. We obviously had the little bit of an outlier with Corey Seager. That was it's not common with position players for a reason. And then we got bit twice because Caleb Ferguson was a huge addition to the Dodger bullpen. He was, honestly, when he broke out last year out of the bullpen, it was like, okay, we found his spot. Like, this is where he thrives. This is where he's going to spend probably the majority of his career. He gets hit. He goes down with Tommy John surgery, and it's like, wow, this is the first one we've had in a while. First serious one, maybe at the big league level. We had a couple in the lower levels, but you start looking deeper into it. And just across baseball, there are a lot of Tommy John surgeries in general. And so for the fact that the Dodgers have been able to avoid it for so long was good. But also on top of that, then they have Ferguson. And then almost immediately, not really immediately, but back to back, now you have Dustin May, another young guy, another guy who's going to have to work back through
within a few months of play, technically.
Right.
But, you had a whole offseason in between. The last... And we'll have to throw to Tim on this because he could probably remember better than me with a lot of these things. The last Tommy John with a Dodger pitcher that I can remember before, Ferguson, I think it was Chad Billingsley in like 2010, 11, whatever the hell it was. I think because I know that's what happened to him. He hit the Tommy John, and then they're like, "Yeah, we're not going to bring you back. You want too much money, and you died, so you're going to become a Philly now and all that." But I think that was the last time we had somebody in season get Tommy John, a big leaguer, and we'll correct that if a little bit later in the show. But yeah, man. The other thing with this is you got to look at how important all of a sudden that Trevor Bauer signing became. Like, at first it was, all right, we got this guy. We're looking at the postseason really for this guy. This guy is signed to make sure we don't have any hiccups against whatever the Braves and the NLCS, whatever the hell it's going to be. Now all of a sudden, everybody's falling. Our pets' heads are falling off.
Yeah, I know. At the beginning of the year, it was a conversation of like, we have so many starting pitchers that where are we going to put everybody? There was conversation for a minute that like, hey, Tony Gonsolin and Dustin May might start in AAA. Like, just the way things are going, just the way things are shaking out. All of a sudden, everybody's dying. Brandon Morrow is probably no longer alive in the bullpen. That's not something that's not something that's going to happen.
We should probably stop referring to people as dead.
Yeah, but dead from the team. Different kind of thing.
Retired.
And now you're at a place where you're like, whoa, we don't have a fifth starter. And obviously you could make the argument that we do, and they're just not being utilized correctly, or Dave Roberts is not going there. We had the conversation of Josiah Gray, which was really interesting to hear from Dave from that angle of it. But it just seems like you're in a spot now where you're like, at the beginning of the season, it was like they signed Trevor Bauer. Well, that's a lot of starting pitchers. What are we doing? And now we're like, oh my God, thank God they signed Trevor Bauer, because now we really actually needed help. We needed arms out there, and decent arms at that. So now I don't know where to go with this, because
you got to look at what comes next for the team. Right now, you got somebody like David Price. He's a ways away, and he's not built up. You got he's still dealing with a hamstring injury. He's a ways away from coming back. Tony Gonsolin is throwing. He threw a 20-pitch bullpen last Thursday. He's throwing a 35 either today, Monday, or Tuesday. So he's still got a little ways to go. They're trying to build him up to about 4 innings, 75 pitches. He's going to be the guy that takes over. On the other hand, though, you can't rush him. You also got to worry about that shoulder kind of giving out again.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is we don't really know the severity of it. Yeah. Like it just seems so out of nowhere to start with, and generally when those type of things happens, it's probably a more serious issue than we actually know. And so I think that's why they've kind of been slow playing it on purpose, because they have needed him back for a while now. You could argue for a couple weeks they've needed him back. Real. So with that in mind, I think they're going to play it safe with him, because if something happens to him, then I don't know where they're at moving forward. That hurts everybody.
Well, you got to start looking outside of the organization. Maybe there are some internal options that are a little young, but Trevor Bauer said he would throw every 4th day, or he wants to. I guess they've already talked about that internally. That's an option. I don't think that's a 162-game season option.
Right.
But there's definitely more internal options, so we're going to go to the guy who knows the most about the internal options. You guys know him, you love him, Mr. SD Dodger Tim Rogers, star of Stage and Screen and Dodgers2080.com on the internet for everything Dodgers prospect. What's going on, Tim? How you doing, bud?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
We got a new setup. It's our first time seeing you live in skin person, with less skin, by the way. Congrats to you. Putting in work during the pandemic, unlike many other folks. This guy.
Yeah. But I gave it to other people, I guess. I don't know.
I put in work the other direction.
Yeah, we're proud of you, bud. Yeah, but what are your initial thoughts on the May news? Because I know this is a guy you followed now for a while through your prospect hugging days. Yeah,
definitely prospect hugger tattoo tier, prison tattoo tier on that one. That one was terrible. And then you start looking at what are the options, and I go, okay, well, Josiah Gray, of course, comes to the top. And who's next on that? And it seems like of all the main pitching prospects, he's the only guy at AAA right now. Some of those other guys, Gerardo Carrillo and Andre Jackson, who are also on the roster, are at AA. Right. It looks like they're with Tulsa, except Edwin. We have Edwin Uceta, or however that person said,
Uceta.
Yeah, we've had some odd pronunciations lately.
Whatever. And he didn't look bad. I mean, it looks like they could have given him a little bit more runway than 2 innings in his start, but he made his debut. Thankfully, he didn't get rocked like that Bettinger kid did for Milwaukee, but he looked pretty damn good. It looks like he can be an option, at least maybe to build the gap, bridge that gap till Tony gets back, if the Catman can come back and be healthy and effective.
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, obviously, when they had Edwin pitch, they didn't know that Dustin was going to break on us. Right. But I think we could see more of him. He kind of has a funky motion, and has a good mix. He has the good changeup, and I'd like to see him get a chance. I was a little surprised that he was already getting a chance. It's really cool. I mean, I was just interviewing that guy, less than 2 years ago in Single A, and now he's up, and so it's pretty darn cool to see. But also, you get a little nervous, and it's like, hey, I kind of know this guy a little bit, and he's a good kid. But yeah, I was a little surprised he got brought up, but I was also super happy for him, and I'd love to see him get another chance, and I want to see him get an at bat, because that dude took some daddy hacks up there.
I like those free swinging pitchers that come up there when they get the chance to do that. This is the last year to do it, so get them in while you can.
Exactly.
Tim, are you little? Exactly. I mean, I was a little bit surprised, but then the more I thought about it, the more it kind of made sense. Yesterday, before the MRI for Dustin May, Doc was asked about, hey, is Josiah Gray an option? Is this somebody you're considering? And he shot it down like instantly. Yeah, it was pretty quick. Like, hey, that's not somebody we're really thinking about. In your mind, is that more of like a, hey, let's wait and see where we are with Dustin, or is that like just legitimately like, hey, we're just not really considering that right now. We're trying to look at more broad options, I guess.
Yeah, it's surprising to hear Doc talk like that, because usually he just, blow something up your skirt, and it's just whatever, right? But yeah, that's a little bold. And it could, to be honest, I thought JoJo struggled a little bit during spring training. Maybe it's from Doc's eyes that he saw that. And also, just like he didn't pitch winter ball, Edwin did. Right. So Edwin had real competitive games under his belt. So that's a difference. And a lot of these guys didn't, especially, to be honest, the guys from the United States. A lot of the Latin guys went down and played winter ball and got some repetitions in, and that has to count as something, because Josiah hasn't pitched in competitive games since September of 2019, along with a lot of these other guys.
Yeah, it's we're now kind of dealing with the effects or the fallout of no minor league season in 2020, because we know a lot of these guys were throwing, they were moving, but we can't really put eyes on honestly what they did at the alternate site. There are no numbers, there are no stats coming out of this.
Yeah, and those are very controlled things. It's like, I run controlled scrimmages every Sunday with 11U kids. It's almost the same. It's like, hey, you know what? That's enough pitches, we're switching. Or that's enough runs, we're switching. It's very controlled. And you can, say, hey, let's have Michael Busch bat 3 times or something like that. Or have him bat every inning. And there's all sorts of things like that. So it's really not competitive enough.
No, for sure. Getting back to the idea of who's filling in that time, we know Dave has already said it's going to be.
He was on the same team with Tatis.
Who was that? Oh, Uceta?
No, I said he was on. He was on the same team with Tatis during winter ball.
Who?
Uceta was.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, you were breaking up slightly there. Yeah. Okay. Does that mean make him a bad shortstop? I don't know.
No, it's super competitive there versus the alternate sites.
Oh yeah, 1,000% there. But getting back to this whole idea though, who is going to fill in? Who's going to really take this space now? Because we know, all right, D-May's done. He's getting Tommy John on the 11th. By the way, everybody, you have to go to Jimmy John's on the 11th. Post a picture of your sandwich. It's not a sponsor thing. This is for me. You're gonna take a picture of your sandwich, tag # Jimmy John, rest in peace, Dustin May, and then boom, that's how he'll recover nicely from his Tommy John. You go to Jimmy John.
Yeah, all the well wishes. Yep.
Does, in your opinion, you've seen a lot of Edwin Uceta. Does he have what it takes to get some major league outs for 4 innings for a few weeks?
Yeah, definitely. He can do that. That's for sure. It's how much further can he go than that? I mean, we had talked as it's been already hashed out. We had 8 or 9 starting pitching candidates going into spring training, and we're down to 4. And I was writing articles about 6-man rotations with 7 dudes and all that type of stuff, and now we're at this other stage where it's still, we know the rollover from the 60-game season, the rollover from a lot of guys not even pitching, all that type of stuff is going to just destroy pitchers. The Dodgers, the good news for them is they are still loaded. They can keep bringing up guys. It's just a matter of, do they have the guy to come in and go 6 or 7? I don't know. These guys missed that whole year of development that they sure needed that. But the Dodgers aren't the only ones in that boat. The difference is the Dodgers didn't have a ton of talent that was ready to go in 2019 at the AAA level.
Definitely,
so they were all at AA and single A.
We got Alex here who brings up a good point. What about Mitch White? I mean, that's somebody they've kind of gotten away from him as a starting option. Is he somebody you think that maybe still has some ability to start?
I wonder that. I mean, he breaks a lot, and so he just has had injuries every year. It seems like ever since he started. I think he did have Tommy John when he was in college at Santa Clara, but I really have liked what I've seen of him, and I've advocating wanting him in the bullpen. We had an article that Ryan Fowler wrote about him and with his best chance in the bullpen. I hope he sticks. Maybe you can get 2 innings out of him, because the Dodgers don't have a ton of relievers that you go, yeah, that's our 2 or 3 inning guy. Now these are all 1 inning guys. When he rolls anyone out there for more than an inning, I get really concerned, because none of them have that type. Maybe Jimmy Stimmy Nelson.
Stimmy Nelson,
do that,
the legend Stimmy Nelson.
That dude, got credit to that guy. I'm not sure he still knows quite where the ball's going, but the ball moves a lot, and he is getting better. He's missed a lot of time too with all those injuries and stuff. He's just getting that feel again to pitch, and not just throwing strikes, but strike where you want it to go.
Yeah, he's one of those guys I hope very much proves me wrong, because I'm off the Stimmy Nelson train. I was never sold. Right now, though, we've hit a point of desperation where, dude, you're like our only hope. You're one of our few hopes here.
I need you to
bullpen.
Be very good.
Please develop into that fifth starter. I mean, that's kind of the. But with Gonsolin and all, the thoughts and prayers for Gonsolin that he can be ready in a month, and they're saying Price will be ready in a month. And Price is a guy that can go a couple innings and maybe more as it gets longer in the season. But there's still a gap there. It's at the AAA level where, like I said, there's that AA roster looks really flipping good. And I think I want to go out and watch those guys at some point. But
yeah, perfect segue there before we let you go, man. Minor league season finally starts again this week. It's been more than a year since we've had minor league baseball. I know you're excited about it. What's the latest you got in your hashtag sources and hashtag stalking people online, finding out where people are at, what levels, and where the biggest names on the Dodgers 40-man and top prospects list are going to be dropping?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, Great Lakes and Tulsa have really good rosters. Those are the only official rosters. We've seen pictures of guys out there. The Quakes are going to start tomorrow in San Bernardino. I'll be there. So if you see a guy rolling around with his camera and his Dodgers Nation shirt, that'll be me. Come say hi. I guess you have to social distance. I'm clean, so
yeah, he's vaxxed up.
But yeah, it'll be looking forward to seeing those guys. I think guys that might be at Rancho would be like Jake Vogel. Maybe Landon Knack. That could be another guy, because those guys have not been assigned yet. Hoping and praying for Diego Cartaya. So there could be, and maybe Kendall Williams also. That's another name that might be out there.
Wow.
But yeah, I look at the Great Lakes roster and I'm going, geez, that's going to be a fun one, because they got Bobby Miller, they got James Outman, Andy Pages, formerly known as Andy Pages. The Tulsa roster has got, like I said, Carrillo, Andre Jackson. It's got Ryan Pepio.
I know you're a big
the
Pepio
great
guy.
Steve Berman. If you really like the minor league, Steve Berman would be a favorite. But they got Jacob Maya, Michael Bush, and Cody Hosey, Devin Mann, Roman Cuadrado, Jaron Kendall, Rincon, Donovan Casey. It's a loaded team. So I got a feeling that the low A and the triple A might be a little light in some of these things, but it'll be fun, and it'll be new favorites to come out and watch. It'll be different. I don't know how many people that will be at these games, but tickets are in demand. That's for sure. So I don't know how much their social distancing and the percentages will be there, but it'll get better. It'll get better as we go.
Yeah, we know a lot of people want to go see their local minor league teams again, and there's a lot to be excited for, especially. The Dodgers aren't flush with talent anymore at that highest level, because a lot of them have since graduated at the lowest level. We probably got to replenish again, but still, those middle tiers, the guys that are maybe a year, 2, 3 tops away, there's a lot to be excited for with the Dodgers. So everybody make sure you follow this guy. It's at SD Dodger Tim, and also follow at Dodgers 2080. That's a website where he's working his ass off, quite literally, on getting you guys some content there, along with another one of our guys, Ryan Falla, who's doing some great stuff. I know you're excited to get it going again, man. We appreciate you for hanging out. The chat loved you. The chat loves seeing you. So hopefully we can get you talking more. You got your setup, man. People love the background too. So.
Yeah, ready to roll, man.
He's ready to roll.
The SD Dodger license plate. Had to take it off the car because there's weird people out on the interwebs.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's reasonable. Yeah. I've met several. I work with one, so
yeah.
Internet friend.
There's a group of us on the chat. All right,
SD Dodger Tim, thanks for hanging out with us, bud. We will catch you on that weird internet. So moving on a little bit more with, some
Life.
D-May stuff with life and D-May and all that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man.
I didn't want to open this on Tim's time.
That's nice of you.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. What do you think about
life? Yeah.
Life and
sucks.
Is Uceta the right guy to go for now? Should they maybe go? Should they consider Price in there in that fifth spot?
I mean, look, I think the biggest thing that they're going to do is they're going to try to bridge a gap between now and Tony Gonsolin, and I think that's the biggest thing. That they're not looking for a guy to be the fifth starter right now. I think they're looking at Tony Gonsolin as their fifth starter. I think that's the plan. It makes sense to me.
It's earned it.
I think that you're going to see spot starts from people. I think that you're going to see them kind of work in that Bauer pitching every fourth day type of situation for a little bit. You look at this month in particular, and it kind of works out that way with the off days, not so much with the doubleheader included in it. Kind of throws us off a little bit. I'm going to sneeze in a second, but that's okay. So with that being said, I think that you'll see Edwin get some starts. I think you'll see him get some spot starts and probably go 3-4 innings. Nothing big, nothing major. And for a fifth starter option, not bad. I mean, it's not a bad option for a fifth starter. Obviously, we're the Dodgers. We're used to Dustin May being our fifth starter.
Yeah.
Hurts a little bit, but that's okay.
The throwing Cy Young, David Price in the bullpen.
Exactly. I think you'll probably see Jimmy Nelson get a 3-inning start here or there in the filler time, but also he's a guy that they do need to fill out longer innings in the bullpen, and so it kind of doesn't work out that way for them. But
I can't see them doing anything with him.
I do see them having some bullpen games mixed in, and with the off days that are also built in, it kind of works out, and it can work out. It's just a matter of getting from here to Tony Gonsolin, and they just have to bridge that gap, and it's a tough, let's be honest, it's a tough bridge to gap right now for the moment. Again, depends on how long Tony's out for. You hope not that much longer because he's throwing another bullpen to build up this week and
today or tomorrow.
If he's throwing today or tomorrow, then he's probably also throwing around Saturday, Sunday again, which means he's going to increase from 35 probably to, you would imagine, about 50 pitches, which means he's right on the horizon of making starts. So
I worry about that shoulder blowing up on him more, man.
I do as well, and I think that they are very conscious of it, but I
hope they caught it early enough.
I'm not worried. I keep forgetting about Dennis Santana as a human, just like as a human person. The dude, I mean, he is much better. He is much better now than he obviously has been over the past couple of seasons where he's kind of been like on the cusp of everything all the time. And he's also a guy who is technically a starter. I
don't think he's got that kind of length though, man.
He doesn't, but I think he can be a 3-inning guy. I think he can at least be a 2-inning guy.
Yeah, but then now you're okay, you're saying more to fill in for that Gonsolin.
We just need to fill. We just need to bridge that gap and make it happen.
Yeah, so if you do get Uceta, whatever you want to call him, if you do get him maybe as your opener in a way, and then you go to Dennis, you go to other guys, you go to Stimmy Nelson for 2, whatever it is, but you really can't survive on
you can
bullpen games for a couple of weeks.
I think you can make 8 innings out of Eddie and Dennis Santana if you had to.
Are they also not shitting the bed in
this situation? In this particular situation, they are not. But I think that if you needed to, you could find 8 innings out of them. Worst case scenario, you got to go to somebody else, and that's okay. We can do it. We have the depth. We had the depth.
Yeah, what we learned real quick is, sure, the Dodgers have been rich in depth for years, but they obviously lost a few guys, traded away a few guys. I mean, shit, how great would Rue be right now? Give us some shout out for Hunjin.
How great would Ross Stripling be right now?
Oh man, a great question. But we're getting now into this. I think we talked about it last episode. The second string, this third string, even fourth string of major league ready air quote prospects, and they're not overly flush there, and that's fine. Not every club is even flush the way the Dodgers have been for the last few years, but the injury bug has been killing it.
I would also, by the way, not put it past the Dodgers at all to get a fill-in out of the organization option. Would not put it past them at all to be like, let me get a guy who can eat up 5 innings and not be the best start, like a Chris Capuano type that is just there to live and exist and throw innings for you.
Is Scott Kazmir still trying to make his comeback? Because aren't we paying him? I think
we're still paying him. Might as well just scoop him up, see what's good.
Dig into some of the comments here. Ari says, I love Tony. Don't we all? Tony's a good man. I'm going to reach out to him. I'm going to get the exclusive insider info from him. He's got to be bored.
Is shoulder good? Ask him.
You do shoulder good?
Yeah.
What else? Leslie cannot wait to see minor league baseball. Honestly, I'm pretty damn excited. And if they're still keeping wieners and beer cheap there, YOLO, as they say.
They have like a $2 beer night in Rancho or something like that. It's not the good beer, mind you.
We're going to die.
It's also like Dixie cups, I'm pretty sure, but It's $2 beers nonetheless.
It's really low grade moonshine, honestly.
It's not
it's
great.
homemade.
San Bernardino made.
It's some swill. Hell yeah. Daniel Soto say we haven't lost 16 or 17, so things could be worse. Pretty damn close, it feels like, man. But
does feel like it.
Your boy Eddie's in the stream. He says bullpen games are his favorite, and I think he's being facetious with it. Jesus saying let's bring back Stephen Fife. Oh, the legend. Steven. What is he, like 49 now? What happened to Brock Stewart, by the way?
The Brock Star?
Remember when he's like, yeah, or he's back.
Oh, they signed him, huh?
Yeah,
on a minor league deal.
Yeah,
that's a question for Dave.
From those two, from that like little odd nexus of Dodger moves this offseason, they brought him back, and they brought back Brandon Morrow in the same breath. Both of them
options are not around.
Yeah.
He's Brock Stewart's actually working for Southwest Airlines now. He's been around so much they just hired him on. So now he flies planes. Good for Brock.
It's like he knows where to point and do all the things, YMCA that they do on the planes. I don't know. I've never flown. I don't believe in flying.
Ari says we need to get Gagne out of retirement. When we talked to him, he looked like you have his number. Call him up. Get him on here.
It's like, who the F is this?
Hey guys. No, he was so nice. He's such a nice human being. He's Canadian, right, Gail? You guys are all nice. That's your stigma. By
the way, our friend Tony from West Coast Multimedia is in there. Tony, I got your hat. I love it, man. I just haven't put it up yet, but cool hat. You guys are looking for like video work that's much better than what we'll say like wedding photographer quality. Hit up Tony at West Coast Multimedia. Him and his team do some great stuff. We've worked with them in the past, and cool stuff. And he's got hats.
They make you look good on camera, and that's tough for me. Real tough for me.
Hashtag shout out right there. Tammy bringing up Floro. I don't even want to get into the pain of losing Dylan Floro because he's been killing it right now, and we're hurting. We're hurting, as they say.
Yes.
Yeah. Nick says bring back the GOAT Brandon League. No. Let's not. Henry says reality check. Friedman ain't spending any more cash. That is probably the most accurate and factual statement we've had today, and we're not about that on the show. You know this, Henry.
It's sad. Do you think Bauer will take a pay cut to pay somebody else?
Hey, Trev,
we're gonna need like $10 million a year back, give or take.
All right,
get somebody.
All right, let's move on.
Brandon McCarthy.
This is
Tom Kohler. Get Tom Kohler out of retirement.
His shoulders got to be back together. He's a golfer now, I think.
I'm sure.
I think
everybody is after.
I think his wife runs like a barbecue stand or a realtor or something like that.
Those are two very different things, but I see how they connect.
I mean, I would buy a house if they had a nice barbecue there.
I would as well.
And if I also had the money. All right, 1 month review. This is exciting. Boom, I banged the table.
Why are you hitting the disc?
Because it was about the 1 month review. We're going to do this in post.
Sound effects.
1 month review.
Yeah.
See, it doesn't work the same because I don't.
They just want to know what we're doing.
All right, guys, we're coming off a really solid god awful month of April. It was the weirdest.
Oh, April sucked.
Roller coaster. I mean, usually the down on a roller coaster is supposed to be the fun part, but it was just a never-ending awful trudge uphill. It's been a never-ending awful trudge uphill for the last 2 weeks.
Why do they say it's all downhill from here? Isn't that good?
I don't know.
It's easy.
Well, I don't know.
Explain when my body started hurting
people.
And you're you're 28, it's all downhill from here. I'm like, oh, so it's an easier walk? What are we talking about?
If we have any old folks that know about the origins of turn of phrase, let us know in the comments below because it doesn't
turn of phrase show.
Doesn't quite make a whole lot of sense. But Dodgers went 13-2. We got boob bombed by the legend himself, Bobby Nightingale. Not Bobby, but Bob Nightingale, Booby Nightingale. Then we went 3-9 in April, and then if you want to count it all up, we're 4-10 since a little bit better than 4-10 since Nightingale said we're the best team that's ever happened ever in the history of the universe. There's been some really interesting, unexpected question marks in this first month of the season. Like, when did Corey Seager forget how to play shortstop in baseball on defense?
Long time ago.
It wasn't this bad last year.
2017 was his best year of defense, and if you look at all of the advanced metrics, it appears to be an outlier. It was just one of those years where he was just hot.
To my retort, you're an outlier.
That's true. I don't make a lot of sense. That's a good point.
I don't know, dude. It's weird, man. And we hit a point where Dave is starting to get asked the questions, and Dave is gonna Dave. He's gonna work his way around it, not give you a reasonable answer. I mean, I don't expect him to be like, yeah, dude, he's a piece of shit.
He's not going to ever attack his players, which I think is like secretly what everybody's hoping for during a real shitty month like we just had. I think everyone's kind of hoping like, hey, dude, why don't you just tell us like we're playing like shit right now? Just say that. I just want to hear you say it and admit it so we can all be happy together. And we're not. And he's not saying it. He's not admitting it. And when he's asked, hey, what do you think about Corey's defense? And he's made some real good plays for us. And I'm like, yeah, okay, in the past, that's great. I'm proud of him for that. Good job, Corey. What do you think about his defense right now? And he's like, oh, it was a tough play to make. Didn't say anything. He said, I didn't watch the replay of it, so I don't know if he actually could have gotten to that ball. I'm like, do you really care what's happening on your team right now? Because that seemed to be an issue to me. And a lot of people were like, hey, look, there's no way Corey was making that play. And I'm like, okay, if you want to go that route, that's fine. It's because he has a bad arm and he can't make that throw. And I've argued that for years that he doesn't have a good arm, and no one listens to me. Even after Tommy John, no one listens to me. Making that ranging play, if you at least stop the ball, at least make an effort to get the out.
But there are situations where there's a ball tipping off his glove, or he's just not keeping his glove down. And some of these plays, some of these instances, it's less about making the play and the throw, and more about securing the damn ball in the back of your glove.
Catch it, brother. Are you of the same mindset of a lot of? I had this in high school. Coaches say if the ball touches your glove, you should have caught it, and I lean towards that. I think it's not a one size fits all, but there are a lot of situations with Corey in particular where it's the ball touched your glove and you should have caught that.
Because that's a tough situation because we're so used to Corey being in position to make nice plays look easy because of the scouting they do, the advanced scouting and the way they position their players. Corey's able to make a lot of these plays, but he's not a rangy guy. And rangy guys, you look like a Fernando Tatis, who has a lot of range. He's got wingspan. He can go and get some just oddball, I guess balls in the glove. But he's going to throw them wild because you're not supposed to get that ball.
No.
So I can agree with the statement. If your glove touches the ball, in theory, you probably should have made the play. But on the other hand, if you get to a ball you had no chance getting to, you can't really say for certain, oh, yeah, this guy's got to make this play. But, again, Corey Seager, we know he's not gifted with range. He doesn't have the best arm. We never see him really wind up and fire, so he doesn't have to a lot of the time. But when it comes to simple things like a pickoff throw coming, pitcher from pitcher and all that, like in the glove, bud, then make the tag, not off the tip. And just, I don't know, maybe he's smoking out with Belly in that damn MVP truck or whatever that is.
Belly's not playing right now, so he's kind of just living it up. I've said for a long time, and MLB scouts, experts, everybody has said for a very long time, that Corey Seager does not profile long-term as a shortstop. And I just don't see at all a world in which Corey Seager plays shortstop for the next 10 years. Not at all. Not even a little bit, actually. I would be shocked if he played shortstop beyond 4 years from now, to be honest with you. He is a future corner infielder, and I just don't think there's any way around that because a lot of him tells you he's not a rangy guy. He's not a guy that's going to make those plays. He's not even, for such a tall dude, he doesn't even have that great of a vertical.
No.
In terms of like how he measures up against shortstops that are approximately half his size and stature. It's just, there's a lot of things about it that tell me he's not going to be a shortstop long term. And that's of no fault of his own. I'm not faulting him for that by any means. I think that down the line, he'll probably be a great third baseman. He could even later in his career be a great first baseman.
I was going to say, arguably. Nomar made a phenomenal transition-ish from short to first as a Dodger.
Got to focus more on his bat, got to hit more as a Dodger, and then got to kind of turn things around a little bit.
Then he did that thing where his body just ripped apart from itself.
It happens, yeah, especially at first base. He starts to get a little lethargic.
What's tough, though, with this Seager thing, before we move on, it's like we know it's there. We know we've seen him make plays. This looks like he's... I'm not accusing him of not, being in the game because we know he's in the game, and I'm not accusing him of going being a stoner with Belly because, that's not his style. At least I don't think so. He's from North Carolina, maybe moonshine, but
big moonshine state.
But yeah, it's not passing the sniff test so far for me. And I think he would admit it too. And he came into the season, or they came into the season, Dave talking about it in the offseason, like, like he was asked about him, potentially moving to third, playing elsewhere, and he's like, no, Corey sees himself as a shortstop, and he's going to go out and prove it to everybody this year. And so far, first month, that's been a problem. I think Corey will figure it out. He's a damn good ball player. He's World Series MVP for a reason, because that was mainly because of the bat, but we've seen better out of him, and he's not the problem for this recent skid for the Dodgers, but he's a contributing factor to a lot. Another contributing factor as we look into some of the problems with the 1 month review. Are you worried at all about Mookie, or is it going to all come together?
You know what? Actually, he's been hitting the past 2 days. Let's just say the past 2 days, which is not a huge sample size. He's hit the ball hard. He's hit the ball very well in most of his at-bats. I think him taking that day off kind of reset him a little bit, kind of got things turned around a little. Mm-hmm. I think one piece of conversation that's come up more often than not is like, hey, maybe that back is still actually bothering him, or maybe that back bothered him enough to the point where he made some mechanical adjustments or had to compensate in some areas for another. It just didn't look good. You saw him pop up, I think, more times than we've ever seen him pop up, like in his big league career, not even just as a Dodger. He's getting underballs. He was missing stuff right down the middle. He was behind on fastballs. There were a lot of things about it that said, like, hey, something's off. I don't know what it is. We can't put our hand on it. He's never going to complain. Doc was asked, like, hey, remember when he got hit in the forearm when we thought he shattered his forearm because it looked like it was bad.
That was nasty.
He was like, hey, do you think that's a reason? And Doc's like, absolutely not. That's not a reason at all. And then he was asked about the back, and he was like, oh, maybe. I don't know. Maybe the back was an issue, because it is a back, and your back controls your entire body. And if your back's not right, the person's not right. And I think anybody who's ever had back issues knows that. Not worried about him. I think that he is going to find it put together. I think my biggest issue right now is that he is in a position where he can't take that much time off. He can't get off of his feet as much as I would like to see him get off of his feet. I think he will play in only one of the games tomorrow. That's my prediction for tomorrow. But also, who the hell do you just throw out there right now? Because everybody's hurt.
Man, and they get the Dodgers for the doubleheader. They do get an extra player. I would imagine they got 14 pitchers up, so they got to bring up a position guy. Maybe Ruiz.
Sure.
Do you go Ruiz or you go Peters? Because one's going to give you an opportunity to get a hit, and the other guy is DJ Peters.
Yeah, I feel like they're probably going to go Peters on that, just because of the outfield alignment's going to need help tomorrow more than anything. Catchers are not going to need help tomorrow. I just don't see
I don't know.
Happening.
Barnsley's all of a sudden playing second base.
It's a 14 inning. It's 14 innings.
Yeah,
it's not like it's 18 innings or anything like that.
Good point. Anyways, all right, I'll agree with you that Mookie will be fine.
Thank you.
I am worried. I mean, last year Max, Muncy, he got clipped and was kind of in his own head by his own admission the whole season and struggled mightily on a lot of inside pitches. You wonder if Mookie's kind of skittish. I mean, all of a sudden he's wearing the armadillo on his elbow. Maybe he's, thinking a little bit more on some of those inside guys.
He's caught a couple already this season. A couple hard ones to the inside.
Nasty ones.
And there was one, I think it was in yesterday's game. Somebody buzzed him inside, and he jumped like he had gotten hit. Maybe he is a little skittish right now. Those hurt.
Boom.
They don't feel good.
Call Dave real quick. Juan said, I didn't know, did Mookie go vegan?
He did.
Oh.
He did.
Well, that sucks.
Well, remember when
he's got all that money for meat?
Remember when Corey went no dairy and for a little bit sucked?
Yeah.
And then now he's God mode hitter, not defender, but God mode hitter. So maybe it's just a little transition period from going to normal eater to vegan.
Yeah, that diet stuff's got to be weird all around. I mean, I don't believe in diets, as anybody watching can tell, but it's working for JT. He talked about it today, right? Where he's been on that whole 30 diet and kind of, I think, stuck with some variant or some version of it. Looks good. He's playing good. He's hitting the ball. He's hitting the ball harder than he ever has at any point this early in the season. But Cool Whip Special says vegan. Boo, and I agree. Like, there it is. How can you have any pudding if you don't eat your meat?
That's a good point. That's an excellent point. I think you've argued that very well.
Question mark. It's not so much a question mark, but the injury bug. Like, we've been blessed with relatively perfect health for a long time. I mean, we had the one-offs. We had Ferguson last year. We had Seager in 18 with the elbow. But man, like it's bad right now. How do you I don't know. I don't even know what to do. I just wanted to bring it up. Like, you can't predict that. And it's the year where you let the extra guys go, like Jock and Kike, who've been around to fill in for years and years. And now the other guy is supposed to fill in, Dan McKinstry. He's got his hurty side, so that's a bunch of suck. Bunch of hit by pitches too. Just saying, it's a thing. That's a note for everybody. The Dodgers got to stop getting hit by pitches. So I'm looking at you, League, not Brandon.
He told you.
And the other thing is, hey, who would have predicted that Matt Beaty guy would be pretty good at baseball with hitting it, huh?
Look at us. Who would have thought?
I'll drink to us.
Who would have thought? Listen, guys, I mean, I will admit something to you guys. This is not something that I will admit freely, and so I'll let you guys hear it and let you know. I have a bias in the sense that we get the honor and privilege of having a lot of really good, really talented ball players on our show. The guys that we get to talk to, get to know over the years. Some of them we like more than others. Matt Beaty is one of those guys that we like more than others.
Cool dude.
I mean, I think like you're talking about the history of the entire show, who's been on our show. I think in terms of like the nicest people I've ever met in my entire life, I think Matt and Jess are probably the two nicest people that I've ever met in my entire life. Jess talks way more than Matt, and it's a great thing because she has a lot of good stuff to say. But
fun couple.
It does make me really want to root for him in the first place, but also add into that fact that I think he is a good ball player before we got to talk to him, before we got to know him. So when you combine those two things, I just have a lot of faith in the dude, and I just think that he can roll out of bed and hit. I think he can do that at any level. I think he has shown he can do that at any level.
He's proven it
I think the Dodgers
career.
have kind of screwed him, to be honest with you, in the first part of his career. I think long term that he's going to be a very successful ball player. And I think right now, if you look just at the roster today, just at the lineup today, that's as far as you need to look to know that the Dodgers are kind of screwing him over a little bit in that sense, because the dude just showed up and absolutely raked on Sunday. Looked amazing. Put the ball in play, something that Edwin Rios has not been doing, and that's just good things happen when you put the ball in play, guys. We've learned that. Not in the starting lineup today. Obviously, we didn't play, but he was not in the starting lineup. And that's just one of those situations where I'm like, man, I just don't know I don't know in Dave's mind, and you've talked about it a little bit, when you're like, Dave has his guys, and he's going to roll with his guys. And he's shown that in the past. He's shown that by batting Kike cleanup in the past. He's shown that by sticking with A.J. Pollock during long stretches of just being terrible. He's shown that in the past. And sometimes it's rewarding. But more often than not, it puts you in a position where you're like, you don't understand riding the hot hand, I don't think at all.
Yeah, we were talking about that before hitting the live button.
Right.
It's like that whole idea of there are times that you need to ride that hot hand. You need to do something that's out of character, out of the norm, maybe sitting some guys that aren't hitting. Looking at you, Gavin Luck. Sure, he's got to get it going. Sure, he had, air quote, 2 hits on Sunday. But if you're going to have Rios in the lineup over, your boy Matty Cakes, I can't. New Matty Cakes. Matty Cakes light.
Light.
Yeah, I don't know. That's getting borderline indefensible. And sure, it's the whole, he's going to play tomorrow. And Dave giving us some line about I really want him to be able to be good on the bench. It's like, well, you're trying to win ball games here, bud.
That was a tough one for me. That one made me like kind of grip my mouse a little harder. Where it's like he's really good. We want to have him be really good off the bench. And it was like, what? It kind of broke my brain for a second, Dave.
Oh, Dave, the things he says sometimes. Although we love his disdain for Dylan Hernandez because he's one of us. Dave Roberts is one of us at
Dylan
heart.
Hernandez is not one of us.
All right, so I wanted to look back real quick at our April question marks that we had before we started the season. There were some question marks that we put together from fans and just ourselves. One of them is, how far into the season will we begin the Jansen shouldn't be closing anymore conversation? We started it early. I said it was going to be 13 games. It turned out to be 8. However, since small sample size, he's not throwing that much, which is helping, but
because we're not winning games.
KJ's kind of the best guy in the bullpen right now, and that's also kind of saying a lot too, because bullpen beyond that struggle bus. The next one, Gavin Lux, is he going to be the real deal in 2021? So far, it's a resounding no, but still has earned time, and we know he's earned Dave's runway. I'm worried about him potentially being the first top prospect fail we've had in a while. Look good on defense. He's looked good on defense, but man, he's just that at bat quality is not there for me. Hashtag finish the at bats, as Dave is saying. Can Trevor Bauer, next one we had, can Trevor Bauer handle the pressure of a $100 million contract? So far, Resounding yes.
So good.
He's doing well. Chances are we're going to have to lean on him a whole lot here in May, potentially. Will Jimmy Nelson make it out of April on the active roster?
Technically.
One could argue in the early goings, maybe not. However, out of necessity, he worked his way into being okay. So we'll give that one a pass. He made it through. So, yes. Alyssa Ruiz gave us how are we going to celebrate back-to-back championships in the fall. Hubris. Look what you did. We lost all those games after winning all those games. Just saying, Alyssa.
I just want to win a game. I would really love to win a series. Like if we could take both games tomorrow in Chicago, that would just be aces in my book.
Sweep. We need a sweep. I will take a sweep. How sweet would that be?
We need like a dominating sweep, dude.
Yeah.
We need like a we embarrassed you in front of your mom like situation. You know, we need to really just make them feel bad about themselves.
Is it Stacy's mom?
Stacy's.
Say here, she's got it going on.
She does.
Anyway, all right, May predictions. Do you have any real May predictions? Because mine are meteor, explosions. One prediction is...
meteor.
Meteor.
Yeah.
We're not back on the vegan thing. Lux might not have more than 6 hits in May. Do you have any
You're going to get blown up for that one this time. I didn't say that one. Gavin, I still have faith in you, bud. I still think you're going to have a
That's
great
the
year.
problem. Don't have faith. When you don't have faith, he does well.
I've trash talked a lot of people. None of them are good. No one's good right now. I've trash talked a lot of people. None of them are good.
You have...
I trash talked Cody Bellinger, and he died.
You've run out of your powers.
I'm gone. Now it's to a point where if I'm just really nice about somebody, they get an opportunity and they do really good, i.e. Matthew Beaty. I don't know if his name is actually Matthew.
Matthew Thomas Beaty, I believe.
It is Matthew?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure. You don't know how things go this season. So I got to be nice to people. It's my power switches with the moon cycles or something.
Lux will then have more
is
than
Mercury
6
in
hits.
retrograde because my powers have reversed?
I don't know.
I don't know any of that.
I'm not a cop.
Anyways, do I have
Kemp.
any real May predictions? No, I don't have any May predictions. I think that the Dodgers will start to win ball games. I don't know if they'll be much better than they have been the past couple of weeks, but I think they will be better. That's
Leslie says you got to grow the mustache back.
I don't know what I got to do. I got to sacrifice a chicken or something. Nothing's going right.
What are your thoughts on that? Quick, go ahead. All right. Before we go, this one's going to be fun for some people who live on the internet like us. Take us through it, man. Take us through it a little bit. This is going to be the definitive collection of pre-approved garb that straight males can wear to a baseball game.
Yeah, it kind of made its way around the internet yesterday where basically the long breakdown of it is a fan in Arizona went to a game with a girl on a date, and it went through this whole thing, and the Diamondbacks got involved, and it was a lot of fun, and then somebody had to go ruin the fun by saying, like, just please don't dress like this, men. And the dude's wearing a polo, which, number one, a polo's a good thing to wear. That's nice leisure wear.
Yeah.
And then athletic shorts to a ball game. I don't know what you guys wear to a ball game. I'm more of a comfort over style type of person just in general in life. But if I'm going to a hot game at Dodger Stadium, you can bet I'm wearing shorts, even with the whitest legs you have ever seen in your entire being.
Pretty damn white.
And that's okay. I think it's fine. I'm not going to police what people wear to games. I see girls wear the heels and white pants like we've talked about on Twitter several times. I don't mind them doing that. They can do whatever they want. It's their life, not mine.
Yeah, everybody's welcome to wear whatever the hell they want.
Just wear clothes.
Just wear clothes. Even if it's a minimal amount of clothes, hot dames and hot fellas, do whatever you want to do. Show off them white Brook legs. But, yeah.
Dr. Villanova on YouTube says jersey, jeans, and some Jordans, and that is a fresh fit to a ball game. I like that. I can't pull that off, but it's a fresh fit.
What was the question or the argument was, like, on a date you can't dress like this? Like, you're agreeing to go to a date at a ballpark. Like, one would assume you're going to.
It was just really funny to see it make its way around the internet. It was a dumb statement just in general. It's like, why are you worried about what other people wear to ball games? It's not really that big of a deal. And then she was like, I was just making a social commentary on how men don't try. And I was like, yeah, we all knew that though. This is not news.
Definitive answer, though, is one sandal or both chanclas, but you got to have the reef kind with the bottle popper on the bottom. It's very important. So sandals at the ballpark. It doesn't matter the temperature. You could wear that. You could wear them to the game today in Chicago with the rain. It's very important.
I will say that something that does kind of bug me sometimes, and it's just a minor thing, is that when you look like you're just like somebody off the street that walked into the ballpark like randomly, like Nacho Guy, the guy who got hit with nacho cheese, that guy really bugged me because he, number one, wearing nothing Dodger colored, nothing at all, sitting front home run seats, also wearing a hat that was not a Dodger hat. And you don't just wear a hat just because, just random no brand hat. That's so odd to me. And he just showed up like, hey, my company had these seats, which if that's the case, no, whatever. You got your seats and nachos and fame, 5 seconds of it.
All right. Next, you need cargo pants. This is very important. You need cargo pants because
carry stuff.
Who isn't getting laid in cargo pants? Let's be real.
That's a good point. Yeah, I used to have cargo shorts.
If they have the calf zip off, even better.
If they have the little hammer slot to to hold your hammer in.
Well, I'm keeping this together. And then a jersey with the sleeves cut off, like the old Diamondbacks vest.
Oh, the type. Vest things, yeah.
You got to do that. That right there, boom. That's clutch. And then I would say, let's go a beanie because a beanie is a choice. If you wear a beanie everywhere you go, well, I'm sorry for you. But there it is. There's your definitive collection: reef sandals.
Reef sandals.
Reef sandals
okay.
with the little bottle cap pop off. Cargo pants, preferably with the calf release. We'll call it. Socks with the sandals too. Why not? Let's go. That has to be Dodger socks though. Whatever ballpark you go, and then sleeveless jersey, no undershirt, and a beanie. Definitive answers.
Next game I'm going to is a pair of white Crocs. Some blue socks, some Volcom shorts, and then like a undershirt, tank top type deal situation. No hat, nothing.
Ari says you could wear a Lakers hat though, or a Lakers jersey and a Dodger hat. Yeah, I mean, cool. Absolutely. If we're being real, obviously,
no problem.
If you guys can't tell, I'm being facetious with my definitive answer to ballpark ensemble. I apologize if you took it seriously. Ensemble.
Zip off pants.
Yeah, there it is. Zip off pants are used for parks with unpredictable. Looking at you,
Sarah. Come on, zip off pants. Come on, Sarah.
With a little calf release.
You know what you're planning for, Sarah. Relax.
Roach says I wear the entire Dodger uniform to a ball game, stirrups and eye black. Ooh, good call.
Zed does that.
Yeah, you got to be ready.
Yeah.
Also, bring your glove. You got to bring your glove.
You bring your glove. I never bring my glove.
That's because you're a coward.
I catch them. I've never caught a ball.
Yeah, exactly. How many balls have I caught?
Steve threw me a ball from the bullpen. That was it. I was like, "Hey, can I have that ball, Steve?" And he said, "Yeah." And I was like,
I got one of those from Ryan. No, not Ryan Madsen. Man, I think we promised to never say that name again.
Ryan Madsen, isn't that just like Blake Trinan, like reincarnate?
Dan Hudson threw me one. I was like, "Hey, Hudson, throw me a ball," and then boom, he ended up being good and winning a World Series with the Washingtons a year later.
Yasiel Puig threw AJ one. With his bat.
Oh, man. Remember that time AJ died? That was a good time. AJ. Shout out to AJ. This is all the important stuff. If you haven't been watching for 94 shows.
Oh, we're coming up on 200, baby.
We're going to party. We're going to turn up. Got to have a mohawk also. Anyways, that's it. You learned a lot or you learned nothing. We had fun, though. That's the important part. Find us on the internet. On the DodgersNation.com. That's where we live. That's where we work. Go there. Click on our things. Pay us. Keep us alive, please. It's very important. Subscribe to Blue Heaven. We are on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Stitcher Radio, Player FM. Everywhere your podcasts are available for free. We live there. Also, subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/DodgersNationTV. It's the best way to keep up with us every week, every day of your life. Because why not? Doug's there, too.
Doug is there, too. Doug is also in the chat, so if he's alive still. Hi, Doug. Guys, I'm at BrookMe3. This guy over here is at RealFRG. We're on Twitter and Instagram. We are at Dodgers Nation on Twitter, at Official Dodger Nation on Instagram. Thanks for hanging out with us today. We appreciate you guys as always. We're coming up on episode 200. We're still trying to figure out what the hell we're going to do, but you can bet it'll be a lot of fun. Take care. Have a good doubleheader tomorrow, and we'll see you guys on Thursday.
Bye.